Hey guys, this is Tim Stout with the Learn to Earn podcast, episode 7. Today we're going to go over a book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Rich Dad, Poor Dad it's a phenomenal book. It is probably by itself has influenced more people than any other book on the planet as far as financial literacy. A lot of the podcasts I listen to, they talk about the book that's inspired them the most or that's helped them with their mindset. And the majority of people always say Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it's a it's a book written by Robert Kiyosaki. He is a real estate investor who lives in Hawaii. And it talks about the mindset of when he was growing up. When he was growing up, his poor dad was his biological dad. It's the dad that he lived with that raised him. Wasn't really poor, but almost had a poor person's mindset because he was highly educated. And he was always working for the government. He always worked for a paycheck, and he was secure with that. So Robert thought of that being the poor dad's mindset. And then his friend, his childhood's best friend's Mike's dad was a entrepreneur, and he created businesses and he created income. wasn't educated, I think he quit high school, but something like that. But he was super educated. He was always looking to grow money. He understood money, and Robert called that his rich dad. And so this book breaks down the mindset of the poor and middle class and the rich. And the book explains that it is it's a mindset. It's decisions made. It's action steps. It's if you stay this way, if you stay poor, if you stay in the middle class, it's specifically because of a choice that you made. And the book is super in depth, has a lot of educational purposes, a lot more educational purposes than I can do in a podcast, especially in the length of time that I do them in. There are 6 lessons in the book, and I'm going to briefly go over the lessons and what I think about them. Number 1 is the rich don't work for money. And the notes I took: the poor and middle class work for money, and the rich has money working for them. So with lesson 1, it's basically the poor and middle class. They work every day for income that's going to come in, and they spend that income. They spend that income to live, to buy things, and so on and so forth. And when people with the more of the rich mindset, they invest that money. Because there's 3 ways to make money. You can make money through earned income, and that's the one that's taxed the most. And you have your money that your money makes, or your main two. I was breaking them down to a third grader, which is how I like to explain things. That's how I learned them. There's earned income, and there's money that your money makes. Earned income is taxed at such a higher level that the rich really try to focus on their assets, creating income for them because it's taxed less. So the rich focus on getting their money to work for them as far as investing it. And a lot of times, it starts out small and then it grows. In a 10 to 20 year time, it makes a pretty big difference. So that is the lesson number 1. Lesson number 2 is why teach financial literacy. And it goes into, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you can keep. And he goes on to explain that the poor mindset believe that, well, if I would just get this raise, I would make this much money. I would be able to do this. And the truth of the matter is that the poor mindset is, if I make $50,000 a year and now I can make 60, I will be able to do this, and this more. But in all actuality, what happens is, instead of them spending $50,000 a year, now they buy a new car, they buy a little better house, and they buy a boat, which eats up their $10,000. So they're now continuing to buy more liabilities, which doesn't make them money, and it creates more of a strain on them because the more money you make, the more liabilities you're going to have with that mindset. And the rich, when they save first, and then they spend second. So when they save first, it allows them to invest a little more. Number 3 is mind your own business. The rich focus on growing assets, and the poor focus on income. And that's sort of playing off what we just spoke about. Is the rich, when they make money, they save as much as they can so they can invest it, and then they spend what's left. The poor mindset focus on what they make and what they can buy and what they can spend. They focus on, I really want this new car. I need this new car. They feel like that's success to them. But a new car is like all liabilities. Once you buy it, it starts depreciating in value. So you never get an income increase. You never get you never make money off of it. But when they're rich, they're going to focus more on starting a business, buying rental properties, flipping properties, or investing in a business, or investing in their own education. Something that's going to produce fruit beyond the initial investment. Number 4, the history of taxes and corporations. Okay, my rich dad played it very smart and used corporations. And he says the corporation is the biggest secret of the wealthy. And basically what he gives with that, corporations is, there are several ways to own businesses and to own things. Most people own things like sole proprietorship. That's mean they own it. Then you have LLCs and you have S corps and C corps. So there are different ways to own things and own properties. But there's tax benefits with owning the LLC, the S corp, the C corps. So the rich understand the tax laws, and they understand how to use the tax laws to save them money as they create more money. And more of the poor mindset, they don't understand this because of the financial literacy, and they don't take the time to learn it. So therefore they get punished throughout life because they didn't understand that. Number 5, the rich invest money. It's not the smart that gets ahead in life, it's the bold. And what he's meaning by that is the smartest people in life that I know are highly educated. They work for corporations. They work for the government. They're educators. They're teachers. Great people, great jobs that we have to have. But they, with that type of education and that type of mindset, they get to live a good life, but they're not set up for their future as far as a big life, a wealthy life, which is sort of what he's explaining. The people who are willing to take risks with money, they save money, they invest money, and they invest in real estate and allow that portfolio to grow. They invest in stocks and in cryptocurrency, whatever you're investing in, but you're willing to take that risk of losing it to grow it. Those are the type of people and the mindset that are able to grow in life and to create a big long-term wealth that you can live off of and retire early if that is your goal. Number 6, work to learn, not to earn the money. A job security meant everything for my poor dad, and learning meant everything for my rich dad. So basically what he means by this is your whole purpose to work is to come in and to work, and you learn, you educate yourself, you realize how to invest, you realize how to grow a business so you can invest in yourself. But the poor mindset is more of you just come into work because you want job security. You want a job 3 months from now. You want a job 6 months from now. People have the illusion that working for somebody else is comfortable because they feel like it's secure. But in all actuality, you're just a couple layers from getting fired because it's still somebody's business and things can happen. And my mindset, I'm more of an entrepreneurial mindset, is I want to be in complete control of what's going on with my business and my income. I do not want to work for somebody else and have them in control. So the thought process of thinking that it is secure because you're working for somebody else is a fallacy. It's a lie, because certain things will happen. You can lose your job, so it's not as safe as anything else. But this one I definitely recommend. This is especially a huge mindset book. Anybody who wants to educate themselves, who wants to invest in anything, or who wants to change their mindset. And parents, I suggest letting your kids read this. Let them understand that they should be spending their money on buying assets and not liabilities. And maybe when they're 17, 18, they're not worried about that new car. They're more worried about buying a property or investing and growing their income. This book could have more of an impact on a young person's life than probably anything they can read, because the way that it switches your mindset. So I definitely encourage you guys to read this. And also, there's another one behind this called the Cash Flow Quadrant that he wrote. Robert Kiyosaki wrote several books on financial literacy. The Cash Flow Quadrant is another really good one. It talks about the ways to earn money and the ways to level up those ways of money. So it's super good, super educational. Guys, this is the Learn to Earn podcast, episode 7, and we'll hope to see you next week.